scary situation at a Saskatoon hospital. What nurses say a patient threatened them with. The flu spreads in Saskatchewan, why health officials are bracing for a bad season. And writing a last chapter, why a longtime columnist is signing off for now.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a call for increased security at a Saskatoon hospital. It comes as a nurse shares the details of an alarming situation at St. Paul's Hospital last week. CTV's Laura Woodward explains what happened.
A scary situation at St. Paul's Hospital. It happened last Thursday evening when a psychiatric patient arrived at the emergency department with a sawed-off shotgun. The incident was described in a letter written by an unnamed nurse to the nurses' union. Along with the gun, the nurse says the patient also had multiple knives hidden in their pelvic area that they used to stab a window while threatening to sexually assault and kill a staff member.
They wanted to rape them. They wanted to murder them and their family. They were going to sick their gang on them. And it was just a real scary incident.
The nurse is calling for St. Paul's to install a metal detector to improve security. In an email to CTV News, the health authority says it's committed to providing safe environments for patients and staff. The SHA says it's testing weapon detection technology at Royal University Hospital as part of a pilot project that could expand to other hospitals.
You know, government and the Saskatchewan Health Authority, this is your opportunity. The flag's been waved many times, but this one being a tipping point for many, this is your opportunity to do something, to step up where it matters most, to make us feel safe in our workplace so we can do our damn job.
The nurse says the incident has left them questioning whether they can keep working in this field. Quote, I have reached my breaking point. It wasn't the gun per se. It was knowing we had escalated our safety concerns appropriately through all the channels available to us, and still we don't have policies, equipment, or the necessary security personnel to keep us safe so we can care for the patients who need us. Saskatoon police say the gun was found in a hospital bathroom. The next day, officers executed a search warrant and arrested a 38-year-old man with possessing ammunition and uttering threats. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
If family or your work colleagues have been falling ill recently, you're not alone. Flu cases are seeing a sharp rise across the province in recent weeks. Keenan Sorokon has more.
Anybody in the province would know, just based on them or themselves maybe being sick over the last few weeks, we are into flu season.
Flu season has officially arrived in Saskatchewan, with health officials noticing an increase in the spread of major respiratory illnesses. The health ministry released its latest respiratory illness report Friday, which shows more COVID, influenza, and RSV tests coming back positive.
The flu virus is present basically in our community, so it's not like, one case here, one case there.
Medical health officer Dr. Simon Kapaj says Saskatchewan is a bit behind other provinces, but he expects numbers to keep climbing as peak holiday travel and gathering season approaches. 98% of flu swabs are testing positive for influenza A. RSV cases have more than doubled in the last week, and vaccination uptick has slowed. Public health is keeping a close eye on how this progresses.
They are increasing every day and every week, and we expect this to put some pressures on the healthcare system and also in the community as well as schools.
Calls to 811 and school absenteeism rose last week from respiratory illnesses. Scientists have been closely monitoring this year's flu vaccine's mismatch to a flu strain in circulation. Vaccines are planned a year in advance based on what's happening in Australia, and Kapaj says the virus has mutated since then. But despite this, a vaccine is still the best tool for the fight.
So keep in mind that the vaccine still is good because it will reduce the complication and the severity of the infection itself.
Health Minister Jeremy Cockrell says vaccines are readily available in provincial facilities and pharmacies for free, as this trend of increased cases is only expected to continue as Christmas approaches. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The provincial government has introduced legislation to allow involuntary addictions treatment aimed at addicts who pose a danger to themselves or others. As Wayne Mantika tells us, they will be forced into secure treatment centers where they will receive help.
The legislation is aimed at helping addicts who are beyond seeking treatment themselves.
for those who are in such a complex state that they're not able to make a healthy choice.
If passed by the legislature, the new law will allow for involuntary addictions treatment at secure facilities.
The legislation will allow for the individual to be referred to involuntary treatment as a result of a decision from a panel that will be struck.
The criteria for involuntary treatment will apply to individuals with a history of drug overdoses, frequent interaction with first responders, frequent visits to the ER, substantial mental or physical deterioration, or harmful behavior toward themselves or others.
Because the facility itself will be different than a voluntary treatment center. It's involuntary, so different safeguards will need to be put in place. People just can't leave because it's involuntary. So different ways the facility would be set up because it would be secure.
Angela McPhee is a Kindersley mother who desperately sought help for her two sons.
Addictions counseling of all kinds, mental health services of all kinds. There was nothing there to allow me to help my son.
One died in 2017, the other this past March. The mother supports involuntary treatment.
Yes. What's the alternative? We sit back and have more people die. Here's the other thing. You, amongst everybody, we all complain because they're breaking into places, they're stealing. Well, then let's help them. It's not going to stop. By doing nothing isn't helping anyone. It's not helping them either.
The government says it can't drag addicts into recovery, but it wants to make them healthy enough that they can make the choice themselves. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Premier Scott Moe is among the most popular premiers in the country. Moe was third most popular at 53%. That's up 3% from the last rating. The most popular premier is Manitoba's Wab Kinew at 58%, followed by New Brunswick's Susan Holtz. Ontario and Quebec's premiers had the lowest approval ratings, according to Angus Reid. The results are based on an online survey of just over 4,000 Canadian adults conducted November 26th to December 1st. The margin of error is plus or minus 1.5 percentage points, 19 times out of 20. The province is touting its latest job numbers. According to Statistics Canada, Saskatchewan added 16,500 jobs last month, year over year. 1,600 of those were part-time positions. That brings Saskatchewan's unemployment rate to 5.6%. Nationally, the jobless rate is 6.5%, with the country adding 54,000 jobs last month. In Saskatoon, 4,200 jobs were added last month, with Regina adding 8,500. The province says most job gains were reported in healthcare and social assistance, as well as business, support services, and agriculture. The Moose Jaw Police Service is investigating a private wellness center after the Saskatchewan NDP claims a patient was mistreated. The concerns raised stem from an American citizen who moved to the city seeking help for conditions of ALS, according to an investigation done by the CBC. Sierra D'Souza Butts explains.
A police investigation is underway in Moose Jaw after the NDP raised its concerns about a private health center to the Moose Jaw Police.
This is not health care. This is inhumane.
The NDP is also calling for action from the provincial government to regulate the center following an investigation by the CBC surrounding a woman's death after seeking treatment there.
The minister said there was nothing he could do about it. I think there's a lot he could do about it. This should not be happening in Saskatchewan.
The report details the story of a 70-year-old American woman diagnosed with ALS who traveled to Moose Jaw for treatment at Diane Goodnow Restorative Health Center. In the report, her family alleges she did not receive the treatment she was promised, despite paying the center $84,000 US. The center is currently involved in legal action against the CBC over its reporting.
There is health center written on the side of the building. People are expecting health care is being delivered in this facility when they show up. ALS patients aren't showing up because they need a room to live in. There is an expectation that they are receiving care here. There is an expectation that the government is regulating healthcare in this province.
In a statement to CTV News, Goodnow extends his condolences to the woman's family and loved ones. He says she was already severely ill with an undiagnosed case of COVID when she arrived in Moose Jaw, for which she was treated in hospital and released, adding her health and strength improved over the 3 months that followed. Prior to being discharged, Goodnow says the woman asked to have a feeding tube inserted, but because the center is not a medical clinic and does not perform surgical procedures, she was referred to the local hospital. However, Goodnow says hospital staff declined to perform the procedure as it wasn't medically necessary. According to Goodnow, the woman was discharged from the hospital and traveled to Montana, dying several weeks after leaving Moose Jaw. Earlier this week, Saskatchewan's health minister said it would direct the concerns to the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Saskatchewan and the Financial and Consumer Affairs Authority.
My understanding is that the Moose Jaw Police have been in receipt of information. I believe the FCAA is also in receipt of information. And if those independent bodies conduct an investigation and yield results that warrant the College of Physicians Surgeons to get involved, then I expect fully that they would share those the results of their investigation.
CTV News reached out to the College of Physicians and Surgeons of Saskatchewan and the Financial and Consumer Affairs Authority, but did not receive a response before deadline. Because this is now an active investigation, Moose Jaw Police Service says it will not be providing any further comment at this time. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
Well, Jeff, that sun made all the difference today.
Well, I'm glad it made a difference because what's going to be different about tomorrow, it's going to be even colder. We've got ourselves some really cold Arctic air masses moving down over top of us, and it really isn't going to be moving all that much in the next week or so. So get used to the colder temperatures. And yes, there is still some snow in the forecast, and we'll talk about that later on.
A longtime Saskatchewan columnist known for amplifying Indigenous stories is closing a chapter in his career. Stacey Hine now on his more than 30 years of storytelling.
Things settle down.
For more than 3 decades, Doug Cothan sat down each week to write about Indigenous communities, history, and struggles.
By writing a column for people, I hope to educate them a little bit about what the topic was and sort of open their eyes as to what was going on.
He recently signed off with his final column, retiring a year earlier than planned to focus on his health after a prostate cancer diagnosis.
So I'm really sort of following my business plan. It's just a little bit earlier, that's all.
For Cuthand, a member of Little Pine First Nation, storytelling extends beyond print, directing and producing several films, including the award-winning documentary Donna's Story. He also spent 4 years hosting Indigenous Circle before passing the torch and mentoring longtime journalist Nelson Bird.
Doug has done so much for the Indigenous community, the First Nations and the Métis in this province, and giving people a voice.
Cuthand's work earned him several honors, including the Saskatchewan Order of Merit and an honorary doctorate. Historian Bill Wazer nominated him for that degree to recognize his work.
He was constantly reminding his reading audience that we're all treaty people and that treaties require 2 partners to make it work.
Retired columnist Murray Madrick says Cuthand stood out for his clear and concise writing.
He told a story in a way that anyone could understand it or understand the issues.
As Cuthand reflects, he says he's proud of how Indigenous representation has grown in media.
We've grown a long ways, and so I'm really happy to have been part of that. I'm really proud to be a part of that.
And even as he puts down his column, his work continues with new film projects still ahead, a lifetime of storytelling that's not quite done yet. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A 9th person charged in the death of a man in Saskatoon almost a year ago made her first court appearance today. The remains of Tim Tatusis were found in a house on 22nd Street West on December 18th, 2024, when police were executing a search warrant. Yesterday, police charged 26-year-old Shiana Lee Dagenet with first-degree murder, offering an indignity to human remains, and unlawful confinement. She appeared in court this morning. 8 others charged in the death are also before the courts. Regina police have charged 2 people in connection to a number of fraud scams which target the elderly. Grandparent scams, as they are known, is when a caller describes an emergency to the victim, commonly involving a family member who needs money immediately. The depth of the scam has gotten the best of many who have then handed over thousands of dollars to fraudsters. There have been 6 confirmed cases in the Regina area. Several other Saskatchewan communities, including Saskatoon, have had reports of the grandparent scam. Police say they need people to notify them if they believe they have been hurt by this type of crime.
Doctors, lawyers, business owners, police officers that fall victim to scams just the same. So just because you might have been victim, as much as it's easy to beat yourself up for it, it's still imperative that we know so we can maybe get some funds back, and if we can't, at least maybe see if we can hold people accountable or prevent them from doing it to somebody else.
The 2 people arrested following the Regina investigations are from Quebec and will make their first appearances next week. Saskatchewan farmers and ranchers say they're noticing a significant drop in deer sightings in the southern part of the province. One reason experts believe numbers are down is chronic wasting disease. The disease is comparable to mad cow disease in bovine species.
It's a disease that we know has no cure, prion-based, so it kind of has to run its course. It's 100% fatal. So once they're infected, it's a matter of time before those deer population, or the deer that is infected. You might look at it somewhat to being like mad cow disease in the bovine herds, or Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease in humans.
The Saskatchewan Wildlife Federation says the last time there was a concern with deer populations was in 2013. The University of Saskatchewan's School of Arts has received a $10 million donation. Alumni Bob Sue and Linda Chen made the donation to honor University President Peter Stoichev. In a letter, the couple said they appreciated Stoichev's leadership and dedication to the school. The money will go toward enhancing the David L. Kaplan Chair in Music and Strings program, theater expansion, student supports, and curriculum modernization. Stoichev says it's the largest donation the College of Arts and Science has received. He says as a former English professor and musician, he has always valued the fine arts.
I've been very close to the arts. I've always wanted to try to figure out how in this role I could help to support the arts in some way.
Stoichev is retiring from his role as university president at the end of the year. Still to come, we hear from Trevor Harris as he re-signs with the Riders. Also a star-studded sports affair as the 2026 FIFA World Cup draw begins. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. The eyes of the sports world were fixed on Washington, D.C. this afternoon as the 2026 FIFA World Cup draw took place at the Kennedy Center. The star-studded affair featured actors and models, singers and athletes from all walks of life, including Wayne Gretzky and, of course, U.S. President Donald Trump, Prime Minister Mark Carney, and Mexico's president. The big question fans are asking who Canada will play in this summer's tournament and who will play in Canada. Here is Paul Hollingsworth.
48 teams, 12 groups of 4. Switzerland and Qatar will battle Canada in Group B. The 4th team in Canada's group will be determined based on the winner of an upcoming pre-World Cup playoff.
Between Italy, Northern Ireland, Wales, Bosnia, and Herzegovina.
As a host country, Canada automatically qualified for the World Cup and are ranked 27th in the world. With the complexion of their group competition taking shape, Canada now looks ahead to the World Cup, hoping to win a tournament game for the first time ever, and it won't be easy.
Well, obviously they got the toughest pot 4 team. We know that. We don't know who it's going to be, but thinking of it being a European team, and it could be Italy themselves, it makes it an extremely difficult game. But what an exciting match we're going to get in Toronto.
I think the highlight is absolutely Qatar.
Canada will play its first home match June 12th in Toronto before shifting to Vancouver for matches on June 18th and 24th. FIFA will unveil its full match schedule on Saturday, announcing all the games being played in Canada. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Washington.
The leaders of Canada, the U.S., and Mexico all helped to kick off the main event at today's FIFA ceremony in Washington, D.C.
Oh, Canada! Oh, congratulations. Canada, ladies and gentlemen, the first team drawn in this.
While soccer was the focus in public, the Prime Minister's office says the three leaders also held a private meeting without staff present. Trump had said he expected to discuss immigration and trade just as the countries prepare for a formal review of their free trade deal next year. Tomorrow marks the 36th anniversary of the Montreal massacre when 14 female students were shot dead at the L'École Polytechnique in Montreal. Today at the University of Regina, 200 roses were handed out to commemorate the tragedy. Organizers of the event say it's important to keep the issue of gender-based violence in the public eye and strive for a country where women and children are free from violence. A ceremony was also held to honor the women who died that day. 14 candles were lit for each of the lives lost. The event aims to get the message out to university students, most of whom were born after the 1989 tragedy. Organizers remind people that violence against women includes not only physical violence, but also emotional violence and digital violence. A Prince Albert family will have 2 rooms at the city's new leisure center named after them thanks to a 6-figure donation. The multi-purpose room and boardroom at the Lake Country Co-op Leisure Center in Prince Albert will be named after the Duchak family, who donated $100,000 to the city's Play It Forward campaign. The family says they hope families will make good use of the multi-purpose room for years to come.
We looked through kind of what was available, and this was something that a multi-purpose room we thought was very important for kids. If they're going to have birthday parties here, if you're going to have meetings here, you're going to have whatever. And so for us to be able to be a part of that for families.
City Councillor Don Kilmer says that some naming announcements for other assets at the centre, including the facility's twin arenas, may also be in the works.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Hi, I'm Sonia Reed, and I'm excited to be joining a powerhouse lineup of vocalists on stage with the Saskatoon Symphony Orchestra for YXC Divas Christmas, Saturday, December the 6th at TCU Place. This is going to be an evening full of classic and contemporary holiday hits, making sure to help you and your family kick off the Christmas season. For information and tickets, head over to SaskatoonSymphony.org. So, Jeff, please tell me you've got good news for me on the weather.
You know what? It's going to be good because you'll be indoors. It's going to be a cold day, but you and the other patrons, you and the other vocalists will be on stage, and the patrons will be in the audience, and things will be nice and toasty and warm, and your hearts will be full of warmth because of the holiday spirit. But minus 22 is going to be our daytime high on Saturday. Mainly cloudy conditions, and once again, the show starts at 7:30, and you can go to SaskatoonSymphony.org for more information to get your tickets. Now, let's take a look at our numbers, and it's still cold. Minus 18 degrees in Saskatoon right now, minus 22 in Prince Albert, minus 19 in the Battlefords, and it feels a little bit colder with even just those light winds. On to our almanac for today. Well, a little deceiving yet again. Minus 5 degrees. That was our temperature around 7 in the morning, so temperatures have been dropping off. I think it was around 7, or it might have been, yeah, I think so. Well, I'll check that for you. Minus 7 degrees is what we would typically be at for a daytime high this time of early December. 14 was the record, though. That was set in 1939, a very warm week in our history. And minus 36 degrees in 1977. Wow, 77, the year of Star Wars. Ice planet Hoth temperatures. And 8:58 is when the sun came up, and the sun went down at 4:56.
Coming up, we find out when the holiday train will be rolling into town, and later the 12 strays who need a loving home in time for the holidays.
All right, well. welcome back. We'll take a look through the live lens of Skycam, and really not much of a wind out there right now, but it's still cold, so the wind chill isn't nasty, but you can see just a little bit of a bend in some of the exhaust coming out of the buildings in downtown Saskatoon. But yes, we've got some of the pancake ice on the South Saskatchewan. Let's take a look and see what we've got going on with our satellite and radar shot here. Well, here's that little area of active weather, the snow that's sliding through parts of southern Saskatchewan, not really impacting central and northern areas, but what we want to keep in mind is that this cold Arctic air is building in and it's going to be sticking around. I'm going to step out of the way here. We're going to double check these numbers. Minus 18 in Saskatoon, minus 22 in Prince Albert, minus 19 in the Battlefords, and just, I did check, yes, that minus 5 degrees, that was at 2 in the morning, so that's when that day 24-hour high came into play. Maple Creek was the hot spot in the province, 1 degree. Collins Bay and Uranium City, minus 25, and Maple Creek's temperature high was in between about 3 and 5 in the morning, so it was once again the overnight period where the warmest temperatures happened to be. Minus 19 in Lloydminster, minus 14 in Swift Current, minus 13 in Moose Jaw and Estevan, minus 16 in Regina, minus 21 in Yorkton. Brr. It's also very cold in central parts of the province. Look at that. Up north, Meadow Lake, minus 25, minus 21 in Waskesiu, minus 16 in Kindersley, minus 19 in Wynyard and Hudson Bay, and Watrous and Nipawin. So yes, cold conditions in central Saskatchewan. And up north, everyone on this part of our map is in the minus 20s. It's minus 25 right now in Stony Rapids and Key Lake. Down south, minus 9 is as warm as it gets, and that is in Maple Creek. The coldest it gets is minus 21. That is in Melville. It's minus 13 in Carlisle, as well as in Leader, minus 16 in Outlook, minus 11 in Coronach. The futurecast indicating not much in the way of precipitation for our province as we roll into Saturday. The big deal of the day, you can see the sort of that big blob of cold Arctic air, the high pressure center associated with it is moving in and across Saskatchewan. So around the province we go for Saturday. Temperatures in the minus 20s for northern Saskatchewan with a mix of sky conditions. Stony Rapids dropping down to minus 26, minus 21 in Meadow Lake, minus 20 in Spiritwood, minus 17 in Kindersley, minus 18 in Rosetown under cloudy or mainly cloudy skies. It's also minus 17 under cloudy skies in Swift Current, minus 18 in Outlook for Saturday. A chance of flurries in Maple Creek and Leader, minus 11 for Maple Creek, minus 14 for Leader, minus 17 degrees in Regina and Moose Jaw, minus 16 in Estevan, but a cold minus 19 in Yorkton. And we're dealing with minus 22 in Melfort, minus 19 in both Watrous and Hudson Bay, and minus 21 in Humboldt. For the Battlefords, dropping down to minus 23 tonight with partly cloudy skies, mainly cloudy conditions tomorrow, minus 19 degrees, and then minus 14 on Sunday, minus 12 on Monday, and then it just keeps on getting colder. And Tuesday it comes with a pretty good chance of some snow, minus 22 1 week from today. Prince Albert and area dropping down to minus 27 tonight, minus 21 tomorrow for a high, then minus 16 on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday also close to that. And as you can see, a chance of flurries or a substantive snow on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and then continuing that trend downward temperature-wise, minus 21 1 week from today. And Saskatoon, minus 27 overnight. With even just a northeasterly wind at 10, it's going to feel like minus 36. Minus 21 tomorrow with no appreciable wind, mainly cloudy skies. Then on Sunday, minus 13 with a good chance of flurries, minus 12 on Monday and Tuesday, and it looks like we've got some snow in store for Tuesday. And then that same trend as we saw with Prince Albert and the Battlefords, downward, and minus 22 1 week from today. A mega merger in the entertainment industry. Netflix has agreed to buy Warner Brothers Discovery in a deal valued at nearly $83 billion US when including debt. The merger brings two of the industry's biggest players in film and television under one roof. Beyond its namesake television and film division, Warner also owns HBO Max and DC Studios. Hollywood insiders say the deal is, quote, shaking the industry to its core, end quote, and the sheer amount of influence the combined company will wield could doom movie theaters. According to Variety, Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos said today the company has, quote, no opposition to movies in theaters, end quote, but he suggested titles may also come to streaming sooner. Really? You think?
We took an oath to make the world a better place, and an innocent snake needs our help.
It's set to be a good weekend for sequels at the box office. Zootopia 2 is expected to repeat at the top spot, with Variety putting it at $44 to $50 million US across North America. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is forecast to debut in second with up to $40 million in ticket sales. And Wicked for Good is holding on to its momentum in its third weekend of release, where it's likely to claim third with $21 to $25 million at the box office. And a new photo of former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Katy Perry is providing a new hint at where their relationship may stand. The pair were both spotted in Japan earlier in the week, and yesterday, former Japanese PM Fumio Kishida shared a photo of a lunch he and his wife shared with the couple. In the caption, he calls Katy Perry's Trudeau's partner. Trudeau posted afterwards, saying in part, "Great to see you. Katy and I were so glad to have the chance to sit down with you and Yuko." Partner? Who knows? Maybe it was lost in translation. That's a movie reference.
Okay. All right. For now, I heard you were out and about doing some Christmas browsing.
That's right. You know, maybe I was looking for something for you.
Oh, great.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Pottery, pottery, pottery as far as the eye can see. Because why? Well, it is the annual holiday pottery sale on behalf of the Saskatoon Potters Guild. The president of the guild is with me, Scott Schaefer. So first of all, this has been going on for a number of years, and I suspect numbers go up and down, but how many potters are in the guild?
We have about, it fluctuates a bit, but we have about 60 members overall.
Okay. And will they all be showing?
They will not. We have 31 potters in the sale this weekend.
Okay, so there's lots to choose from, different techniques, lots of different sort of styles. What's your sort of niche?
I typically throw, and so that's mostly what I do. So a lot of mugs and bowls.
Okay. Nothing wrong with mugs and bowls. Now, let's talk a little bit about, I know that one of the tables is a charity table. Tell us about that.
Yes, so this is the first time we're doing that. It's setting this up for CHEP Good Foods. Any items that are sold from that table the proceeds will go to them.
Okay, well, that's great. So you can come down here and check out all the amazing artistry of the potters here at the Pottery Show. For people who go to these events, does it cost anything to come in?
No, it's absolutely free.
Okay, so it's free to come in and browse and take a look, and of course, a great way to do some early holiday shopping. What are the hours of the event?
On Saturday, it is from 9 to 6, and on Sunday, it is from 10 to 3.
All right, so you got ample opportunity to come down to St. Joseph's Hall, just off of 8th Street, and on the corner of 8th and Broadway. And thank you so much, Scott. Some amazing stuff here.
Thank you very much.
All right, Jeff, time for pick of the day. What did you choose?
Well, we've got a nice triple hit, as we often do. And this one comes to us from Janet. This is out in Rostern. I have 31 trees decorated in my yard. Merry Christmas, CTV News. Well, Merry Christmas to you as well. And 31 trees. That is very impressive. And they all look quite unique. So, my goodness, thank you, Janet, for sharing that image with us. Next one comes to us from Shirley. And she took this on a morning walk on November 28th, so a week ago, and she says, "Rye mice or hoarfrost, Jeff?" Well, as it turns out, Shirley, we had some foggy nights, and so when we have foggy nights, and this is the images we get, that's rye mice. When we have clear skies and images like this, it's a different process, but that's when we get hoarfrost. There you go. And finally, there you go. All right, this comes to us from Katie. Here is Luna enjoying her first winter. She's almost 11 months old and just loves the snow, especially sniffing around in it. Yes, dogs. So much to sniff, so little time. But there you go. That is a great shot, and I hope she's enjoying that time. And if you'd like to show us an image, or send us an image, rather, please send it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca, or you can scan the QR code on your screen, and please put pick of the day in the subject line.
Still to come on CTV News, the Saskatchewan Rush get ready for the season. And later, we meet a couple of pups looking for a new pad to call home.
It's time for another edition of the 12 Strays of Christmas, and we got a couple of diggity dogs, a couple of puppies here, and Sheila and Jolene are with us again. And, well, let's just meet your dog. That is a cute-looking critter.
Yeah, this is Mary. So we got a litter of 6 of them. Okay. These 2 here are siblings. They're sisters.
Okay. And interesting markings. And once again, sisters, but they have different markings. And what's our guess on what breed they are?
I would, if I had to guess, I would say husky, maybe shepherd mixes.
Okay.
But they're really small, so we're not entirely sure if they're going to get very big. Okay. They came to us very malnourished, so sometimes they can have a delayed growth spurt. Okay. So. But they'll probably be medium-sized dogs.
Medium-sized dogs, and as you say, shepherd's sort of a husky cross there, so certainly a great dog right there. Before we run out of time, let's talk a little bit about the Christmas stockings, because I know they're a popular item.
Yeah, hugely popular item. We have a whole bunch of stockings that are available here or in different veterinary clinics. $35 for dogs and $20 for our cat stockings.
Okay, now I know the cat stockings are in short supply here at the shelter, but I know they're available at the veterinary clinics around the city. And just before we go, quickly, the 50-50?
Yeah, the 50-50 last year went to almost $120,000. Okay. So we're drawing on December 30th. So if you want in on maybe winning $60,000, $70,000 in the new year, you should go support the SPCA and buy some tickets.
All right. Sounds like a good plan. And I want to thank you both. And we'll be back with another edition of the 12 Strays of Christmas.
Thank you.
12 Strays of Christmas, brought to you in part by Early's Farm and Garden, proudly supporting the Saskatoon SPCA wish list all year long.
When we come back, we hear from Riders quarterback Trevor Harris on his decision to re-sign. And later, Saskatoon on track to celebrate an annual tradition.
All right, welcome back, and let's take a look at some cold temperatures together, because that's what our rural forecast is showing. And yes, it's not as though this is a surprise. All week long, we knew that Saturday was going to be the cold day. And it's not to say it's the only cold day, because it's not. But let's take a look at these numbers together. Minus 21 degrees from Meadow Lake tomorrow, minus 22 in Melfort, minus 19 in Lloydminster, minus 17 in Kindersley, minus 18 in Outlook, minus 19 in Hudson Bay, minus 20 in Wynyard. And then as we take a look down south, a little bit of snow falling in southwestern Saskatchewan, but not exactly balmy conditions there. Minus 11 in Maple Creek. By the time we get over towards south central parts of the province, temperatures are in the mid to high minus teens. And look at that, minus 19 for Kenora, minus 18 for Broadview. And now let's take a look and see what's going on in Borden. Borden, minus 19 degrees tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, winds out of the east at 15. So that minus 19 is definitely going to feel a lot colder than that. So please take care of yourselves out there. And just a reminder that Borden is one of the many places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
The Riders have secured another quarterback, extending Tommy Stevens' contract for 2 more seasons. Yesterday, the team confirming Trevor Harris will be back. Today, he said it wasn't an easy decision.
I kind of talked to my wife that night when we were kind of at the party, and we kind of left and kind of just sat down, and she was just like, honey, this is kind of the way to go out, but how can you go out when you're playing like this, and we enjoy being here so much, and things are kind of just set the way they are. It's just so nice to see you happy working, and this is what you do to provide for us, and you feel like you're glorifying God through this. And she's like, I just can't see this being the end. And so, kind of when she had said that, it kind of like, it was the first time I kind of turned the page a little bit. And when she had said that, I was like, I think we should too. But let's still just wait a week, because emotions are very high right now.
Harris coming off his best season as a Rough Rider, leading Saskatchewan to their first Grey Cup since 2013. He calls the 1-year deal team-friendly, adding he will continue to evaluate his future on a year-to-year basis.
I've never really been one to compare, and say like, oh, this guy's working this hard. Like I push myself to exhaustion, and I feel like I've learned how to work smarter in a lot of ways. And so I'm not really too concerned about what other people put in. I kind of just keep my eyes fixed on the path that I have, and making sure that I'm pushing myself every single day for my teammates. And like I said earlier, I'm not going to come back next year if I think I'm plateaued. Like, I feel like as long as I play, I'll be in my prime. Age is not going to be something that retires me.
Harris will be entering the 2026 season as a 40-year-old. Meanwhile, the CFL says next year's schedule will be released on Tuesday. The Saskatchewan Rush are preparing for another NLL season to begin tomorrow, kicking off with a Prairie rival coming to town. The Rush enjoyed a turnaround season last year, going 13-5, finishing second in the NLL standings. The team collected 4 major individual awards for Best Coach, Best Goalie, Best Defensive Player, and Best General Manager. It was the team's first trip to the playoffs since 2019, making it to Game 3 of the NLL Finals, losing to the Buffalo Bandits. The Calgary Roughnecks are the first opponent for the Rush, a team that has seen new faces compared to last season. The voice of the Rush says after last year, the bar has been raised and just making the playoffs isn't enough.
Now the bar is set at this team is gunning to win a championship, right? It's no longer good enough just to get back to the dance. They want to seal the deal. And that's a good sight, especially if you're a Rush fan, because the previous seasons, it's been a bit of a rebuild, retool, and now you've got a group that went out and got free agents a year ago that is primed to push for a championship.
The 2026 NLL season kicks off tomorrow night at 7 from SaskTel Centre. The University of Saskatchewan is receiving praise for its research. The university ranked #1 in Canada for research income growth, which measures yearly funding increases in research. It also was tops in research intensity per graduate student, corporate research income growth, and international government research income growth. Those ranks meant the university placed 10th overall in the top 50 list. The U of S also ranked highly for its publications in natural sciences and engineering, AI, and climate change.
Most recent rankings that look at the amount of dollars, the number of dollars that come to university every year, we have done really very well. These are the Research InfoSource rankings. They put us at number 10 in the country out of 98 universities that Canada has.
While it has always placed highly on the national and world stages, the university says this top 10 ranking highlights the leadership and momentum for the future. Coming up, when the holiday train is set to roll through town. Then the wonder of Whoville in Saskatoon.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us for another great night of television starting tonight at 7 with Happy's Place. Well, the CPKC holiday train is set to arrive in Saskatoon over the weekend. The train coming from Winnipeg will enter Saskatchewan and make a few stops in the Yorkton area before making its way to Wynyard tomorrow afternoon at 4:30. It will arrive in Saskatoon at the corner of Warburton and 7th Avenue North tomorrow night between 8:45-ish and 9:15. It will also make stops in Wilkie and Macklin on Sunday. Jade Eagleson and Tegan Gaze will be performing for the Saskatchewan leg of the trip. For more details on the times and the locations of the holiday train, you can head to CPKC's website. And if you're headed to the Saskatoon stop, you are encouraged to bring non-perishable food donations for the food bank. So it's always a good time. And
it is, and the train looks spectacular.
It does.
It really does, yeah.
Just bundle up when you go.
Exactly.
Yeah. Plan ahead. Right?
That's all you need to do.
And it's going to be a bit chilly tomorrow.
It's going to be a bit chilly tomorrow as we make our way into Saturday. We had anticipated that it was going to be cold, and those expectations are being met. Minus 27 at 9 a.m., minus 24 by noon, mid-afternoon, minus 21 by 5 o'clock, minus 22. The good news, if there's some good news in this, not much in the way of wind, so that wind won't be biting into you as it might often in Saskatchewan.
This is true. All right. Well, there is so much going on, both indoors and outdoors over the next few weeks and days in Saskatoon. You know, the Grinch and all the Who's in Whoville. They're back in Saskatoon this holiday season. I don't know. Did you hear that?
I heard that.
Whoville in the Garden is set up at 1011 University Drive. It's next to Ronald McDonald House. It's an interactive experience, welcoming visitors through an outdoor walk-through light display, meeting the Grinch and City Lou Who, among others. Admission is by donation, with the money supporting Ronald McDonald House. So a great time, and I hear they have hot chocolate there.
That have hot chocolate?
Help.
Yeah, that'll
and
help.
a fire.
And a fire, so good ways to warm up. And goodness knows, I just want to say break a leg to the people at Christmas Story Persephone Theater and out at Dancing Sky Theater with Frank and Panto. So have great runs with your shows, which are opening tonight.
Good stuff. All right. Have a great and safe weekend. Thanks for watching.